Kathy here from Kathy's Cute Creations with the Sparkle and Shine block of the month. Here is the block which didn't get a name. So I'm thinking it looks like the log cabin, but I'm not quite sure if that is the log cabin quilt. And here's the back for your coloring so you can win. Go there and read the directions. And this is the third month, and I have the small clue. There we go. And my fabric is topaz. And I've got it all laid out here on the design wall, or design board actually. So let's take a look at it. Alrighty, so here are our fabrics, and if you notice, we only have 4 of them this time around. The fabric, this fabric on the left is A, B, D, and E if you're following a chart. Otherwise, it's light, medium, and dark. So let's go ahead and let's get started. And our blocks, when we're finished, they're going to look like this. Now this time around, we're going to be, instead of making the blocks like this, which is normally how we do them, and so on the bias, we're going to do it this way. And we're going to make 2 sets. So we're going to go ahead and do all 4 of them like this. I just have the 2 set up here. Alrighty, I'm using a leader ender down there. Really, even though this is a leader ender, a lot of people just use a little piece of fabric and go over it again each time. But I just do this to make little 2.5 inch square, it'll end up being 2 inches when I'm done, blocks with all my leftover fabrics I've got cut out. And I'm using a 2.5. You can use a 2.0 if you want for your stitch. I'm using the aqua color. I've used it on both these sets of blocks. And what I wanted to say is the good thing about this is that it's not only is it a pre-cut, but it always tells you which direction to iron your fabric when you're finished, which I do like. I wanted to mention that if you know who Sew Becca is, she had a Zoom on Saturday, which she was, it was free, and we were just, everybody was just doing their orphan blocks, their UFOs, whatever they wanted to do. And we were getting into different rooms. We were all coming and going. And every time you came into a new room, which we learned, the few of us in there, is that your microphone was muted right off the bat, so you had to turn it back on, because when somebody entered, she was trying to get our attention. Although we didn't hear her, somebody saw her come in, and then she left real quick. So I don't know if she thought that she couldn't be heard in our room or what it was. But anyway, and Becca's going to have another one. Now this one's going to be paid for. If you are a member of the Spools, it won't cost you anything. I don't know if they're going to be doing a project or if it's a UFO again. I can't remember what it costs. It's like $3, I think, and something if you have to pay for it and you're not a member of the Spools. The Spools is where you pay monthly and you get little perks and things. You can check it out on her channel. And in order to participate with this, you'll need to have an invite. So if you haven't done any of that and you're interested, go on over there to Becca's channel or email her and ask her about it. All right, so I have 4 of these. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach one to this and then put that row together, and the same thing here, because that's what it's saying. Alrighty, so I'm adding these 2 here. And remember that when you do these, if you're new, whatever stitch you're using, the 1/4 inch, the scant 1/4 inch, you want to be consistent with it throughout the whole entire project. That means every single month you need to do it the same exact way, or else your blocks will not come together when you get month 10, which is where we put them all together. And you don't want to have to be taking them all apart when you're at the tail end of the project. There we go. Now we're going to connect them. So right before I get off of here, I'll get another leader ender started. going to iron this open, same way we did the last one. So I went ahead and I pinned these because these are just slipping and sliding all over the place. I wanted to keep it together. And while we were doing the Zoom, we were all doing our project. And in my room, there was a young lady who was new. And so she asked questions as she was doing her thing. Got a lot of answers. Because, you know, we're all full of knowledge and we love to share. So while I was doing my project, these postage stamps, so they're all equaling 1-inch squares by the time I'm finished. Somebody in there was making the Lemoyne Star. She was making different colored blocks. The young lady who was new, she was making, she was cutting down her squares. She had a question about that because she was taking 10-inch squares and creating blocks. So that was really nice. And then we had another lady, and she was doing embroidery. And by the time our Zoom was over, everybody had pretty well done a lot on their project, if not finished them. I know the lady that was doing the embroidery, she finished her project while she was on the Zoom. Now you should have these 2 rows done, and we're going to put an A on each end. So that's what we're going to do next. And when we're done with that, it wants a B join. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to join my flower to my white on all of them, and then add this onto this so that I would be finished. And you want to be careful if you have a white like I do, this light white here, because I actually had it upside down when I put my fabrics together. You want to be careful about that. And if you're struggling with your 1/4 inch, there's a lot of videos out there that will show you or teach you how to create or how to figure out what your 1/4 inch is. And I do have a video coming up. It's a little bit different than most, but it does take practice, and there are feet for it. I don't want to say any more because I don't want to spoil the video. When we get done with this, we're only going to have the very first section finished. This is going to be a long 2 strips. Alright, I went ahead and I pinned both sides of these strips, and this is the last piece to put on it. We're going to label it 3A when we get finished. And yes, I pinned it because it is wackola here on me. Kind of weird when it goes in a circle like that. Make sure your little flaps and everything are out so you don't accidentally sew them under. I've done that before. To cut all these little pieces apart and iron them. Now we're going to sew our last A and E together. So you're going to put your long side outward to the right and outward to the left. So this is sort of like a mountain. You're going to sew 2 of them, and we're going to do 2 flying geese, and then we're going to put these together when we're done to make our section 3B. So let's do that. Now, when you sew these, you're going to make sure that when you're done with the 1, you iron it open. So we're going to open towards the D. And it's very important you iron it before you sew the next wing on here. Otherwise, it will not lay right. So we always do one side first, and then we do the other side after it's been ironed open. So we're going to be ironing towards the dark fabric. I'm going to go ahead and set up my leader ender again. Okay, so I went ahead and I opened it and ironed it towards the dark color. Now I'm going to put the other wing on here. You want to be real careful because you're sewing on the bias now. You don't want to be doing any stretching. Just let the fabric feed itself. The feed dogs will take it in. And now I'm going to go ahead and grab my other two pieces. They're also on the bias. They're going to be real careful. Uh-oh, what a mess. What a mess. Eeks. Okay, that's not looking good at all. Let me take care of that problem. Alrighty, I'm not quite sure what happened there, but I went ahead and got it apart and put a lot of starch on that corner, and hopefully it won't happen again. Huh, that was kind of odd. But by starching it, it makes it really, really stiff, almost like a piece of cardboard. Oh, and it's telling me my bobbin's almost empty, which I knew that when I started. I was hoping it would get through all of this, and it looks like it's about at the end. So let me see if I can get this started on there, and we'll check it out here. Well, you know what? I still see it in there, so let's see if I can. There we go. And I've got a little bit here. There we go. I take it. There we go. I do have another full spool because I had went ahead and I was prepared for this. So let's just grab it. I just hope that this will not jam, because I've never just really changed it out while I had something in there like that. We're going to find out here in a minute. So let me shut this off and get these ironed open. Alright, somehow I got my E and my A wrong. Somehow I did it on the wrong side. I don't know how I managed to do it, but I did. So I am re-sewing it. I took it out. I went ahead and starched this just to be on the safe side on that top tip, because I don't want that happening like it did before on me. And I didn't notice it till I laid it out. Let me go ahead and get this one started here. Now I'll open that I'll iron that open, and then we'll go from there. Now this is the way we're going to lay it out, like that. So we're putting our goose or geese, whatever you want to say, on the right and the left side. Our E goes along there. Then on the outside, our light fabric is on the top. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and just put that together. And then there's nothing matching up. The only thing that's going to match up are these two pieces right here. And since these are opposite colors right here, they're going to nestle right there. Alrighty, I went ahead and I put a little starch in that corner. Starting to get a little paranoid. Goodness gracious here. There we go. Get these other ends on. On this one, it says to press it to any side, but when you press it either to the right or the left, doesn't make any difference. You're going to end up with a double. Let's see if you can see this. It's going to be to that side as well as that side. So you have two choices. You could actually open this middle one up if you wanted to and spread out the fabric, but I'm not going to bother with it. I'm just going to leave it just like it is. It'll just be extra bulk. I have my leader ender on there, so I'm not going to be too scared. Worst case scenario is I've got to redo it and put starch on it. But I'm just going to slowly take my time, get it started, and then take my pin out. And I've got all these pins on here so it doesn't move. And this is wanting to really move on me here. And I don't want it to separate. And we're coming to the home stretch here. And these little ends are nestled the best you can get them. But they will nestle right in place. That's just a given. Let me put another leader ender up here. Cut this end off and just flip it over here. Iron that and open it up, and we'll mark it. Alrighty, so when all is said and done, we will have 2 of them. We've marked them 3A. I put a number 2 in a circle representing that I have 2 of them. And then we have 1 3B. And there you go. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to make a comment, go ahead and make a comment. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching, everyone.